I think Kiamba, where elections and politics was really not as competitive as we have seen.
Yes.
First of all, starting in Juja and then Kiamba, which is now looking more intense than even Juja.
Yeah.
Central Province has not seen that kind of politics. So it is interesting times for the people of Central Province. Secondly, it is a contest between Jubilee, which is headed by President Uhuru Kenyatta,
yes,
and his deputy, who is now oscillating around UDA.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that the deputy has put a candidate against the president's candidate in Kiamba. So it's also interesting in that angle. But I have been following. I have not been to Kiamba. I've been following what is happening there.
Yeah.
And I'm told some of the factors that may influence the election of a candidate there will be, one, the individual strength of the candidate. And I'm told the Jubilee Party has a favorably very strong candidate. The second factor will be, of course, development.
Yeah.
The late Honorable Member of Parliament, Koinange, did quite a lot of work there. And you know, Koinange was on the Kieleweke side of Jubilee.
Yes.
So that, again, is going to be a big factor in deciding who the next MP is. So really it's a tough contest, but I want to disagree with my friend here that NASA is not is amorphous. Yes, people have been talking a lot of things about NASA. When it favors them, they say we want to leave NASA or we want to dissolve NASA. But let me tell you, those members of parliament, like I had some talking about that in Ruaraka, when they are in parliament as NASA, my friend here can confirm that ANC, Ford Kenya, Wiper and ODM, when they come to parliament, they all come in as NASA. They have been appointed to various committees as NASA. Honorable Mbui, Robert Mbui, he is the deputy minority leader, the deputy Tumbadi, that is under NASA. So I think people have to be very realistic and tell the truth that if indeed people want to leave NASA, they should start by getting themselves out of the committees where they are representing NASA, so that we can constitute committees afresh and say so and so should be in this committee and this other committee. But the truth is that those other parties, ANC, Wiper and Ford Kenya, do not have the necessary numbers to operate independently in parliament, because the standing orders of parliament say for you to be a parliamentary party, you must have at least 5% of the representation in parliament, which they don't have. So if they leave NASA, I think the happiest party in town will be ODM.
Right.
Because they will quickly pick the seats that they have donated to these other people, but them they are going to lose unless they quickly form another coalition with the Jubilee.
Right.
And then Kina Sankoko can give space to them. By talking in funerals, by talking in churches, that today we are going to exit NASA and they don't exit. I think that is wrong. They should demonstrate that in parliament.
I'll get into that briefly, because we, in yesterday's newspaper, it was reported that, you know, Musalia Mudavadi, who is the ANC party leader, is playing hard to get to President Kenyatta's calls. Yes, Mheshimiwa.
Yes, you know. First of all, I said, Victor, I said it is an amorphous political NGO. I think you have seen from what Onsusi is saying. First, he concentrated on talking about Jubilee and UDA rivalry on the positive note of how development conscious we are as Jubilee, and how the deputy president, who is also the deputy party leader of Jubilee, may be having a candidate. You know, he concentrated positive things about a political party. Then when he went to this amorphous political NGO called NASA, he started now describing it the way it is. First of all, I said it is a political NGO because political NGOs fight over money that have been donated. You know the track record.
Yes.
Of
I don't know.
Political NGO. They have been fighting over funds from the political parties. They are, of course, literally, Raila have run away with all the money, the ODM, and they are fighting over money. That is the trend of NGOs.
Yeah.
They fight over donations. You remember also the issue of pay bill number 672.
Yes.
That was a NASA initiative. It was that time you were still being called COD before you transformed. So you wanted to pay striking teachers using pay bill number 672. Not even a single teacher have ever been paid. Are you getting?
Yes.
Because NGOs normally fight over donations, and they were donated by Kenyans. When we are empowering hustlers, they are empowering hustlers by raising funds. And then again, you remember the funds for the repeat election using pay bill number 991 444. Yes? And they boycotted the election. So that is actually the trend of a amorphous political NGO. It's amorphous because you don't understand them. They fight over all the money that they get. Lastly, I call it amorphous because Musalia Mudavadi, on very many occasions, I've said he's the one who formed NASA.
Yes.
Now he's saying he will leave NASA. How do you leave a house that you formed yourself? He should demolish NASA because he's the one who built NASA.
What if
understand them.
He's be talking of disgruntled member of NASA.
I'm telling you, but he's the one who built NASA. He's the one who was saying NASA how? Now he's being NASA'd. Yes? And he should be the one to demolish first of all NASA and then leave. Let me tell you, my brother. You know, I read in the newspaper something very funny.
Yeah.
When Raila said, we must unite or we perish. I heard those words from Martin Luther Jr.
Yeah.
That we either live together as brothers or perish together as fools. So in Kenya, there are fools who are just about to perish, who will be perishing very soon. Kamati ya tuungane ili tusiangamie.
Wow. Okay.
and you know they are uncanary, and they want to unite so that they don't perish, not because of development for Kenyans, but because they want to compete with one single individual by the name William Samoei Ruto. I'm shocked. In fact, if I was William Samoei Ruto, I'll be very proud. Imagine a former vice president, two of them, former prime minister, former deputy prime minister, former foreign affairs minister, all of them wanting endorsement from the sitting president so that they can unite, so that they don't perish as fools, so that they can fight one single. Imagine if you are William Samoei Ruto.
But Mheshimiwa,
how proud will you be?
Mheshimiwa, in the history of Kenya, there is no any presidential candidate who has ever won that seat without making a coalition.
You know, that is why I'm saying,
even Deputy President William Ruto soon will see him coming up with other political partners.
I know, right. But the catchword here is, let us unite or we perish. You know, that is the catchword. The catchword. And unite not because of an agenda for this country, not because of a manifesto, but because niko na magazine. Ama sijui niko lukua na risasi moja. Na hii mwingine. Na hii mwingine endorsement. You know, these people, you know, I'm shocked because you can unite, we can have coalitions with a common agenda. You know, we had a coalition, URP and TNA, for us to bring people together, especially the fighting and the warring communities within Rift Valley. So we wanted to bring them together, and that's why we went to Afra Study. We had an agenda. But these guys are uniting so that they don't perish against Ruto.
Do you agree with what he's saying? Because if you don't unite, according to him, you'll perish as fools.
I don't think so. I don't think so. You know,
but that's the Raila who said.
You know, NASA, just like any political formation, has its own challenges, which are being addressed. Just like UDA has challenges, because UDA, you can see Kiunjuri today, he is insisting that he should be the running mate.
Yes, he's fit.
Of Ruto.
Yeah.
We have those who think, no, other parties which are outside the UDA must first of all fold and join UDA.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't. Then we have competition. People like Rigathi, people like Kimani Ichung'wah, they also want to be, even Sankok here wants to be the running mate to Ruto. So they have their own internal issues, which I believe they are trying to address them. So if we have problems, leave us with our problems, we are trying to deal with them.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to say is that a statement by Raila was basically to encourage the other parties to try and be reasonable, reasonable, so that we can build a big coalition for Kenyans, not for ourselves. And I have seen a lot of statements, especially over the last couple of days, emanating largely from Wiper and from ANC, trying to indicate that they are not ready to work with one or two other leaders. I think that's very unfortunate, and I think one, they could be trying to play hardball, so that they can raise their stakes. But you see that playing hardballs so that you can raise your stake can also be very risky.
But is it
can also be very risky.
Just a minute, sir.
Just a moment. You know,
talk of hardball.
Yeah.
Is Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi playing hardball to the president?
I think not.
Or the unity call?
Not necessarily Musalia Mudavadi as a person. Some individuals within the party are trying to play hardball. Not necessarily to support Musalia Mudavadi, but to pursue their personal interest. I know, for instance, a few individuals like members of parliament, Savula, Malala, they are playing hardball so that they know that once Musalia Mudavadi is a presidential candidate on whatever ticket it is, then they will have a head start in Kakamega, where they are vying for governor.
Yes.
I think that is a very simplistic and a very selfish way of doing politics. And I wish Mudavadi could be wise enough. I've even seen Sakaja. Now Sakaja has left Jubilee. He is now running around with Mudavadi. Sakaja has an identity problem, because Sakaja is trying very hard to become a Luhya, so that he can ride on the Luhya big block in Nairobi.
But he
has tried that. No, he's not a Luhya, he's a Saboti, and everyone knows that. He has tried to do that through AFC Leopards. You remember he tried to become the patron of AFC Leopards?
Yes.
What happened? He even just disappeared without announcement. So now he's at it again. He's hoping that by parading himself around Musalia Mudavadi, then he will look more Luhya, and the Luhyas who have been questioning his identity, they will now follow him in his bid to become the governor of Nairobi. So the people around Musalia Mudavadi now, who are pushing him hard, I think they are misadvising him. If Musalia could listen to me, and I have told him in the past, the most important thing you need to do is you strengthen your party. Recruit members across the country, and not just Vihiga and Kakamega, then do grassroots election, and then do national election. So that when you go to a function, we want to see Sankok there, we want to see someone from Coast there, we want to see someone from Nyanza there. We don't want just to see you moving around with a few lawyers. And then you tell people that you want to be president of Kenya. We need to see some seriousness. Seriousness in him, so that we can believe him. So that when he gives conditions to Raila Odinga or Uhuru Kenyatta or William Ruto, the leaders will take him seriously. But when you give conditions, when you play hardball, and people look at your party and they see it's a shell, they will never take you seriously. In fact, he is risking being ignored in the whole thing.
Honorable Sankok, it seems things are hotting up.
You know, you have mentioned
and the house in
you have mentioned Jubilee, and mentioned UDA, especially my deputy party leader, That is William
Ruto.
And also Rigathi and Gachagua, Kina Ishungwa. Those are gentlemen and those are politicians who have no selfish interest. What they have is the interest of hustlers, the interest of the bottom-up economy, which is now being adapted even in America. But you know, when you talk about who will be the running mate of William Ruto, yes, we will have several choices to make. We have Kiunjiri, as you have said. We have Kimani Ichung'wah, as you have said. We also have Ndwale. We also have Maangi, who is from Nyanza. We also have somebody from the coast, Kina Aisha Juma. We have so many choices to make across the country because we are non-tribal.
But even that, there was some split. There was some split.
Listen, there is no split. It's only the issue of who will be the best.
Yes. Between Rigathi Gachagua and Honorable Kiunjuri, who was going to be fit to be the running mate of deputy president.
There was nothing like that. That one is the creation of the media. Now, it is even more better for you to have such choices. Now, let us dissect the Kamati. We unite or we perish. Yes, that Kamati. Let's start with ANC. Musalia Mudavadi. Who do you see behind Musalia Mudavadi? Who will be his running mate? Is it Onsosi? Is it Malala? Is it Sakaja?
He's fit the bill. Why not?
No. These guys are 10 kilometers from each other. They live in a radius of 10 kilometers from each other. We had to cross this country is 1,500 kilometers from Turkana all the way to Mombasa. So if you have 10 kilometers radius, you are not even a political NGO like NASA. You are only but a village party. In fact, you have heard him saying that Sakaja is not a Luya, is a
Saboti, yes.
And there is Bukusu, and there is, I don't know, Yani, you know, like Ford Kenya, it belongs to another clan. So these are not only tribal parties, but they are also now clan parties. You talk of Raila. Who is the majority leader in the Senate of Raila? Senator Orengo? Where does he come from? Siaya?
Yes, from Nyanza.
From Nyanza? What about majority leader in National Assembly? Mbadi? Where does he come from?
Nyanza.
Who is his lawyer? Molo Itende. Where does he come from?
Nyanza.
Yes, when he stand to address the media, who is behind him? He's people from Nyanza, 25 kilometers from each other. I think that one have even increased the radius. But talk of William Samuel Ruto, who is behind him. Sangok, 500 kilometers from Wasingishu, because I'm from now. And then Jichopefu, Mohamed Ali, that is another 1,500 kilometers from him. And then Nanok, who is all the way from almost southern Sudan. So we are across the country. And then you talk of the guy from Garissa, you know, His Excellency had that duel. So I'm telling you, if you see William Ruto address the media, you see the face of Kenya. If you see ANC addressing Musalia Mudavadi addressing the media, you will see Sosi, Malala, Sakaja. Who is the other one? And then if you see Kalonzo,
but even in that,
let me just correct him.
Yes,
let me just correct my friend. You know, you know when I said who would be the deputy of William Ruto,
running mate,
if they went as UDA, as presently constituted, yes, they could be having a semblance of a national outlook. But the leaders he has mentioned, starting with himself, they are leaders, we respect them. But they don't have the political gravitas and the weight of a serious deputy president or a running mate. You see, someone like Aisha Juma, or someone like
Ndwale. His Excellency
Ndwale, or someone like Rigathi or Kimani Ichung'wah. These are political lightweight, or Halwale. These are political lightweight, and I think that's.
But do they come from across the country, from all the corners?
Well, even Raila has leaders across the country.
Which one?
We have Joho, we have many other. He has MPs all over the country. So if it is about deciding who has what, I think that's not the issue. The issue is what is the political gravitas or political weight of this leaders around you. And I think they have cleverly tried to manage that by saying they are a bottom-up economy. They are bottom-up. It's not about tribalism.
Yeah.
But we know they also practice tribalism. You see, Sankok has talked about, we have so-and-so who is not from the same tribe as deputy president. They are already talking tribalism. But because they know their limitation, they keep on hiding it by talking about, us, we are not about tribes. We are about bottom-up. Bottom-up. But they have not told us what is about this bottom.
No, if you
which
want,
bottom are they referring to?
I will tell you.
Which bottom are they referring to?
Mamboga, of course.
Okay, you can respond to that. You can respond to that because we know the model of bottom-up economy is all about having the infrastructure in place. That one, President Mwai Kibaki even tried in his tenure. It was a bottom-up economy. The only thing that is missing probably is just the structures on how to implement this.
Victor, maybe you don't understand the bottom-up economy. What we are saying in the bottom-up up economy is that let us widen the tax base by making so many people come into business. I remember when I started my business, I started with 20,000 Kenya shillings, a clinic under a tree. You can imagine what Kenyans can do with even as little as 100,000 Kenya shillings. So we are saying that we need to have so many SME to broaden the tax base so that we can empower those on the bottom of the pyramid. Yes, make them have businesses as small as they are. Let us think of KQ, because KQ is a model of trickle down. That KQ will be floating, will not be making losses, and it will employ so many Kenyans. But have it succeeded in that? We have always been making losses, and we have always been resuscitated using billions of shillings. Now think of those billions of shillings being given 100,000 to each, a few individuals from every constituency in Kenya, and then them having small businesses across, each business paying taxes. What will have happened? We will have broadened the tax base. And by broadening the tax base and also employment, because if you have a small business, you may employ 3 or 4 people. 30 billion that we give to KQ can be able to support 150,000 Kenyans to start small business. 150,000 new businesses in Kenya will mean 150,000 new taxpayers. And it will mean 150,000 new employers. Whether you employ 10 or you employ 2, they are still employers. If they employ an average of 5 each, that is already 750. We are close to 1 million employment. In bottom-up economy, we are saying that we have plumbers, we have masons, we have electricians. Why don't you have the affordable housing? In the affordable housing, 500,000 units per year, and each unit will require a plumber, a mason, an electrician, a painter, 5 of them. 5 times 500,000. Simple mathematics is not rocket.
That sounds so easy. That sounds so easy. It sounds so easy, Mheshimiwa. It sounds so easy.
But
it sounds so easy.
Let me comment on that.
Yeah, briefly. Maybe we just take a very quick break, and then when you come back, I want to ask you that question of you declining to join UDA. And that meeting was held at your hotel in Narok. A delegation went to your hotel. You fed them pretty well, but you declined to join UDA. And here you're still saying that
I did not decline. I told them I'll give you a response. Or before December.
Thank you. Why December? You see now. Hold on, we'll talk about that when we come back. Of course, we are still having this discussion, and we also want to talk that issue of, we have got that CJ now firing that shot to the legislature and the PSC oversight role over judiciary. So let's take a break, and when we come back, we are still continuing more. I have got Honorable Sankok and Honorable Godfrey also. So we'll be right back after this break. Stick around.
all began. As the mother of broadcasting in Kenya, you can trust KBC to bring you authentic news and programs to your living room. As KBC, we take pride in our unrivaled heritage as Kenya's trusted national broadcaster. Commanding over 92% digital television signal coverage of our country, 23 radio services that cut across our entire language spectrum, a national, regional and international digital presence backed by the most experienced and top-notch broadcast professionals in the industry.
A very good evening to you.
The new look Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is truly ahead of the pack. Turn to the mother of broadcasting in Kenya for stories that resonate with our identity, our aspirations as a people united in purpose. Real stories of hard work, of passion, of creativity, of big dreams. Stories that cement our nationhood. Stories that bring us together as one. We take pride in our shared heritage and destiny. KBC, informing, educating and entertaining Kenyans as one nation. KBC, Kenya's listening, Kenya's watching.
Nissan Serena ndio hii, na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS, alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
I've issued an order. The lush pasture in the north will be the new home for these 10,000 warhorses.
The man you want me to get rid of would be Prince Jin, correct?
Although he may suspect me somewhat, now our priority is to ease all of his suspicions.
Quiero amarte de una forma diferente, de otro modo.
We've got to try and put it out before it spreads. Hurry up!
It was a brilliant idea to set the Star Zone on fire.
What a pity. Max won't be able to bring out his product and all his hard work burned to ashes.
Star Zone is on fire right now.
What? On fire? How did it happen? All of it is going up in smoke. The entire Star Zone.
De una forma diferente, de otro modo, nunca igual al de otra gente.
All right, welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Kenya, and of course, People in Politics is up and running. With me in studio, if you're just joining me, is Honorable David Sankok and Honorable Godfrey Ososi. Welcome to the program. So, Mheshimiwa, before we went on a break, we were just talking about the UDA and the NASA coalition, the wrangles there between. We are heading to an election, and things will move on very fast. What happened in Osim Country Lodge?
Person with disabilities.
Yes.
Saw me when I was in parliament, and they got excited when I went with my yellow suit.
Yes.
And even
today you're not in green.
Consosi will tell you that in parliament they were so much excited. They associated the yellow with a party called UDA. So 47 representatives of persons with disabilities came all the way to Osim Country Lodge from the 47 counties of this country so that they can come and convince me to join them in UDA. And they actually threatened that if I don't join them in UDA, though they respect me, they will leave me alone in Jubilee, so that I remain alone in Jubilee. They were telling me that Jubilee is a shell, but I told them, there's a coalition agreement between Jubilee and UDA, so we can still work together. But for now, I'm still a member of Jubilee. And, they really insisted. And I can tell you, Victor, that we had a 2-day seminar in which even we were educated about the bottom-up economy, and now it will assist persons with disability. Some of them are selling biscuits using their wheelchairs. If there is anybody on the bottom of the pyramid, it is person with disability. If there is anybody who have challenges, it is that person with disability. And we really need that bottom-up economy, not the trickle down. Because the trickle down, first of all, it will be very difficult for person with disability to secure their employment. That's why we made sure that it is in our constitution. We ratify the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability. All of them talking of at least 5% employment of persons with disability. So we really don't need, as persons with disability, trickle down. We want a bottom-up economy. But we agreed in principle that they will wait for my response on or before December. But Victor, what caused excitement was this suit, the yellow one, associated with UDA. And I don't know why, even Ososi himself, because I have been wearing green, associated to a village party called For the Kenya, because green is for the Kenya. I've been wearing white, associated with that political NGO called NASA. Nobody caused any alarm, nobody was excited, there was no jitters. I was also wearing red, which is associated with my party, Jubilee. And even KANU. It did not cause any jitters. So I was thinking, is UDA bigger than all these other political parties combined? That a color associated to it cause a lot of jitters from all corners. And again, how many political parties do you have in Kenya? Also, is it not more? Because you are an SG of a political party, ANC.
68 there.
68, that is around 70. So each political party have a color. So already all colors have been taken. So does it mean that we have to walk to parliament naked so that we are not associated to a political party? When
so are you associated with UDA now that your statement alludes that you're not associated with UDA yet?
We are associated with UDA as Jubilee because we have a coalition agreement with UDA. But this color is not associated to any political party, just like my green color is not associated with For the Kenya. My white color is not associated with to NASA. My red is not associated with Jubilee. That was my suit. Now you have a suit also. Which party is it associated? You have blue, which is associated with that small thing called wiper. Are you a wiper member? No, let us speak the truth, But anyway, I will make a decision.
So why until December? Why until December?
My move, because I have to consult my party leader, who is Uhuru Kenyatta, my deputy party leader, who is William Samoei Arap Ruto. I have also consulted widely on persons with disability. Of course, they say they represent the 6.5 million Kenyans with disability. I have been their leader, so I have also some links I will have to consult. So this duration is quite enough. But be assured, Victor, if I have to move from Jubilee, I'll move from Jubilee to UDA. There is one political party that I'll never move to. That is the political NGO called NASA. Be assured, any of those small village party, ethnic political parties, I'll not move to any of them. Let me tell you. Victor, the leader of NASA is Raila Odinga. And I can tell you, the leader of NASA, Raila Odinga, holds the Guinness Book of Record as a person who needs a combination of prayers and investigation at the same time. He need to be prayed for. He need investigation. Investigation on the pay bill number I told you of 999 and 991 444, in which he cons Kenyans for a repeat election, which he boycotted. The pay bill number of 672, in which he conned Kenyans that he will pay striking teachers. Not even a single Kenyan have been paid. You also need investigation combined with prayers, where he wanted the share of votes from ANC, from CCM, from For the Kenya, from Wiper, But when it comes to the political party funds, he will not share. That guy does not only need prayers, but also need investigation. Because some of these issues are pyramid scheme. He does not want anybody to be assisted. If we go to church and fundraise in church, he will say mnabeba pesa kwa magunia. Na yake hajakuja na yake ya wallet, ikakataliwa na pastor. He says that we carry money using gunias. Yet himself, do you think pay bill number, I want the DCI to open the pay bill number 991-444. Kama hiyo pesa iwezi jaa kwa gunia. He opened the pay bill number 672. Kama hiyo pesa iwezi jaa kwa gunia. I remember them fundraising in a hotel so that his wife can go and build a school. And they fundraise in a hotel. And his wife become a principal or accounting officer of a school. As when we go and fundraise for a school, we go to the school compound and then we give the money to the principal of the school or the bazaar of the school. But here is in a hotel so that they can build a school, and the accounting officer have all of a sudden become the wife of Raila Odinga.
It seems Osoti is not happy with that statement.
Yes, let him not. I know he's not happy because facts are stubborn.
You know, Sankok. First of all, starting with the meeting he had in his hotel, where he was
the 47 representatives,
where he was pressurized to defect to UDA.
Yeah,
I think that's a good sign for him. One, I must commend Sankok, who has really tried to represent the interest of persons with disabilities in the House, and he's very vocal about it. That I give him a plus.
Thank you.
And probably that's the reason why he was looked for. But it's interesting transition politics for him. To transition from Jubilee to UDA. It's very interesting. Going to the point that he has raised about NASA and about Raila, I think it's very unfair to make some statements on live TV, which when you don't have the full facts. The issue of the pay bill number, it was during Okoa Kenya time. You remember we have been very consistent on matters of pushing for the changes in the constitution, positive changes in the constitution. And one of the positive changes was to increase the revenue allocation to the counties, shareable revenue, from 15%. That time we were asking for 45%. And for us, if we really are genuine about bottom-up economy, as they are pushing for, then the starting point is to have very tangible policies and program, and one of it is to strengthen devolution, because you cannot talk about bottom up if you do not have the grassroots strengthened. And you know, even with the little money that we send to the counties, 15%, if you go to the villages, you see some vibrancy economically. So if we increase that amount, then we'll be heading somewhere. So that time we were pushing for changes in the constitution to introduce things like increment to counties, and that money was used for that purpose.
Oh, you sent to the counties?
No, I'm saying that fundraising that was done, the pay bill number during Okoa Kenya's time was basically used to facilitate the funding of the movement across the country.
No, for the
unfortunately, they interfered with that process of Okoa Kenya. But now we have revived it through BBI, which again they are opposing. So, you know, they are contradicting themselves, because on one hand, Sankok and his team are telling us that they are for bottom-up economy. But on the other hand, they are fighting initiatives that are going to support what they're asking for. One initiative, for example, is increment of shareable revenue to counties. They are fighting it. We are talking about 7-year
presidential
grant to the youth. They are fighting it. We are talking about things like providing free internet access to youth in the various wards across the country. They are fighting it. So I don't know which bottom-up economy they are referring to.
Yeah.
And coming back to the accusation leveled against Raila Odinga, you know, there was full disclosure, and I think he's behind the news about how much was raised and how it was used. And if Sankok and his friends have any information, they are free to go to DCI or to EACC and file reports and have those people they think misappropriated money.
Information is in Safaricom, my friend.
Yeah, but you can take it. Why are you coming to the TV to talk about it? Go
I can remind Kenyans
to DCI or EACC, because otherwise that is just pure
Victor.
Politics. You know them, they were in government.
Yeah.
They were in government.
We are still in government.
They have had money, access to money, and us in Okoa, Kenya, and then NASA, we were struggling. That's why we came to Kenya.
You mentioned
to ask them.
Relax,
to
my
support
friend.
us.
Relax, my friend. You said about the issue of bottom-up economy, and thank you very much, because first of all, you congratulate me for representing person with disability.
Yeah.
And I'm also sure that you also represent your constituents very well, and you have been very active in Parliament. But then, let us not misinform Kenyans. He's saying that we are talking about bottom-up economy, yet we are fighting the increment to counties.
Yes.
Our constitution is very clear. At least 15% should be sent to counties. Victor, is that rocket science? At least 15%.
At least.
Meaning even if you go to 70%, it's still within the brackets.
Yes.
Yes, we don't need to change the constitution if you have the goodwill. And again, when you talk about we are fighting tax holidays for the youth at the exemption of 7 years exemption of paying taxes. Jobless youth, which taxes were they paying? You know, Kenyans have an acute shortage of fools.
Yeah.
Because if you are jobless, you are not paying taxes, and somebody is saying you will waive taxes. Which taxes? Youth in Kenya need jobs, not tax holidays. Youth in Kenya are very patriotic. They want to pay taxes because they know that it is courtesy of taxes that will have infrastructure.
But how are they going to pay taxes?
And they will pay taxes if they have jobs.
Statistics show that most people who are jobless are the youth.
Exactly. So how do you exempt them from paying taxes? How do you exempt them? Instead, you should be having a policy to create jobs, but not to exempt from paying taxes.
What policy do you have?
Waja nikuuliza na Kiswahili ndio elewe.
Right, niulize. Yes.
Victor, ndio huyu mwana youth ana job, kwa hivyo alipangi ushuru, alafu unamwambia utamsamehe kulipa ushuru. Ushuru gani? Huyu mtu anataka kazi.
Yeah.
Kwa sababu hata ukisamea kulipa ushuru alipangi, so unamsamea nini? You know, you can forgive me kama niko na deni yako.
Are you going to give them jobs?
And that is why we are saying bottom-up economy,
right,
so that we can create jobs.
Right.
And I've told you a formula of creating jobs.
Yeah.
Having 1,500 or 150,000 small businesses will create 750 jobs. 750,000 jobs. Are you getting it? Yes. Very simple formula. We are saying if CDF, for instance, we have another kitty like CDF, we give 137 million per each constituency. If we also have another 137 million for every constituency that is given to small businesses, Mama Mboga, to increase their business.
Okay, so what's your short-term strategy to give those youths, jobs? 750,000, the jobless, because there are so many.
I have given you an example of affordable housing.
Yeah.
And beside affordable housing, where we'll be having 500,000 units per year, translating to 2.5 million jobs, because each unit will require a plumber, a mason, an electrician, and so on.
Okay.
And then, beside that, we have also a strategy to make sure that we export labor, because Kenya export nothing and import everything. That is a failing economy.
Yeah.
Because an economy must have an export and import. In fact, export must be more if you want to grow than import. Currently, we export nothing and import everything. So we say it because we have a human resource base. We can still export labor. Philippines have done that. And in Philippines, they collect 36 trillion in foreign exchange from exporting labor. That is in Kenya shillings. Now Kenya, our budget is 3.6 trillion. If we can export that labor and collect from remittances from immigrant workers, I'm telling you, we can make money. So we have an elaborate plan as a hustler to change this country.
Okay. Yes, Mheshimiwa.
I just want to correct my good friend Sankoki. You know, we said, and it's very clear in the BBI report, that when we talk about tax holiday to the youth, 7-year tax holiday, it is the youth in business, not just any youth.
Yeah.
And the idea, and of course there will be incentive programs around that. Remember, one of the recommendations is to have a youth commission where those incentives will be defined and how it will be done.
Yes.
So it is not just every youth. It will be the youth who are in business, and there will be a program to encourage the youth to do business. So in a way that will increase will reduce the number of unemployed youth, so that it's not about formal employment, it is also about informal employment. What they are talking about bottom-up approach, these are David Nd's ideas.
Yeah.
And David Ndi worked with us in NASA, and we found out that his ideas were too academic. So we discarded David Ndi, and they have picked on him. That's why the ideas, when you ask them, what is it that you are talking about bottom-up economy approach? They have no idea. They start running up and down. He's talking about exporting labor. And I think you are a member of the labor committee.
Yes, I am.
He's a member of a labor committee. From here, we are going to labor committee meeting.
You have a question?
I have a question.
We'll answer it.
And one of the questions I'm asking is about the death of our young girls in the Gulf.
Yes.
A lot of our young girls are dying in the Gulf.
12 of them?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have one, my question, I have one who was killed in December in Saudi Arabia, and I raised a question about that. And these are real issues. So is it that you are going to involve yourself in human rights abuses, trafficking of Kenyans?
No.
And you know, Jubilee has questionable, UDA has questionable characters. Maybe Sankoki is a few who are good. And when you allow them now to start engaging in trafficking Kenyans, then we're going to have a problem. So really, they don't have ideas, tangible ideas on how they want to implement
the difference between immigrant workers? The difference between immigrant workers and human trafficking?
They are just relying on academic ideas that has been presented to them by the likes of David Ndi, who are academic economists, but they are not tangible economists who have led economies. Us, within our ranks, we have serious people who have tried their hands on running economies.
Or where?
No, we are talking about the opposition side, where I belong. The opposition side, the NASA side.
No, you belong to ANC.
Yeah, NASA side.
I hear that you read with the certificate. Anyway.
The NASA coalition. So really, and I want us to have next time, Victor.
Yes.
I want us a full topic on bottom-up economy.
Right. Victor, I'll consider that.
You have accused us of human trafficking.
Yes.
Let me explain to him. I went to Qatar. In Qatar alone, there are 85 Kenyans pilot working with Qatar Airways. These are facts, and facts are very stubborn. There are 300 ground engineers working with Qatar Airways. There are 500 nurses working in Hamad Hospital. That is only that tiny desert peninsula of approximately 350,000 residents. It is now 2-point-something million because of immigrant workers. Immigrant workers are more than the indigenous people from Qatar. What I sympathize with them, and I sympathize with the Kenyans who are getting problems in the Gulf. And mostly it is the lower cadre, the households who are getting problems. We have never had a doctor complaining that he's working in the Gulf. We have never had engineers. We have never had nurses and pilots. So it is the lower cadre. And what have happened, and that is why we want the law, and I am partly answering his question, is that the ones that have been having problems are the ones that have been trafficked through human trafficking. The ones that went without following the due process of the law. But once you follow the due process of the law, and that is why with NITA, we are training agents, so that agents, when they have to export labor, every laborer that is being exported must undergo a certain level of training. That now that you are going to the Gulf, this is the expectation of the Gulf.
Yes.
These are the tradition of the Gulf. This is the constitution of the Gulf. You are going to work there as a house help.
Yeah.
The traditions and the cultures of the Gulf are very different from ours.
Yes.
In the Gulf, if you see a woman wearing tight clothes,
yes,
it is an abomination.
But Mheshimiwa,
so we have to
so many lives have been lost.
Yes.
In the Middle East.
Yes.
And it seems like it's something that's
and
not
those who went through human trafficking. Those who did not follow the due process.
But what is the government
we
doing
cannot
to stop this? Because over 2-3 days ago, 12 bodies were, some people were brought in.
Yes.
From one of them sent a distress call to the parents. The phone went unanswered for quite some time, and something that's quite interesting. And you being sitting
if they
in the
follow
Labour
the law,
Committee,
because I'm in the Labour Committee.
You're sitting in the Labour Committee. Probably you can answer that when we come from a break and after doing the traffic update. You can give us more details and probably what the Parliament is doing to cushion Kenyans.
Victor,
just before we do that, Mheshimiwa,
before you go,
kindly.
You see, when he has just said that they are in government and we are not in government, and he says that he talks about
you don't even know where you belong.
No, just a moment.
Raila thinks that he's in government.
Just a moment. Says that they are in government, and I wonder
Raila is a class monitor in our
why
government.
they are unable to start implementing that bottom-up economy approach, because they are in government. He's in government. Deputy President is in government.
And where is Raila?
Cabinet secretaries associated with him are in government. Start implementing it so that we start seeing the fruits of bottom-up economy.
But I think for the sake of Kenyans who are watching, and many families are still hurting. Some of them are still stuck in the Gulf and in Saudi Arabia. So probably sitting in the Labour Committee, you will tell us what you are doing and what Parliament is doing, and perhaps the government, to save Kenyans. So before that, let's go to Doreen to give us a traffic update on what's happening on our road. Then we continue with this particular debate. Doreen.
Shift focus a bit and look at what is happening around Pangani area, given the fact that my guest who's coming up next after People in Politics, that is Dr. Nabiswa, says that he's stuck a bit in traffic around Pangani area, but you expect him in the next few minutes. So let's just try and see how this area is looking like in terms of traffic. And clearly there's really heavy kind of gridlock there, especially just around Pangani Girls as you come to the city center. This is actually via Juja Road as you get to branch off from Outer Ring Road. Like I mentioned to you earlier, is that Outer Ring Road branches off to various other roads. Key among them is also this one, this specific one. This is areas around Juja Road. There was a bit of construction around this particular area, specifically around the Mlango Kubwa roundabout. They were trying to ensure they rehabilitate this specific road, at least for easy movement of vehicles, both public and private, and also just to ensure that they have specific areas for pedestrians as well. But when it comes to traffic right now around the same area, this is how it is looking like this morning. Like I mentioned, especially around Pangani Girls as you head over to the city center, that is just where there's really that heavy kind of traffic. In fact, moving at a very slow pace. This is at that intersect in between Thika Superhighway as well as Pangani. That is just via Juja Road as you come to city center, just before again you get to the Ring Road Ngara. So this is how this section is looking like in terms of traffic this morning, but looks like things are opening up just a bit on that section as you leave city center, coming all the way to areas around Juja Road, and also as you leave the intersection as you head over to areas around Thika Superhighway. So just where there's really heavy kind of traffic, if I can mention, is just around this intersection. But again, looks like things are opening up, and again, that's the beauty with the traffic, because it changes every single minute. So look at this area where there was mostly of that red color, an indication of heavy kind of traffic moving at a very slow pace. This has just changed right this very minute, and so again, it simply means that perhaps we should be expecting our guest in the next few minutes, because I mean, look at how things have changed there. That's just actually around that section of Pangani area. So yes, as I mentioned earlier, we are expecting our guest who will be coming to talk to us about matters family planning and contraceptives. That will be coming in after People and Politics, so stay with us.
Nissan Serena ndio hii, na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS, alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bidi yako ya chini zaidi, kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bidi yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bidi ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Nateseka lakini hakuna wa kunielewa.
Na uhakika lao ni baba Kibadi.
Hebu nyamaza wewe. Hivi unamaanisha kwamba dadangu alikuwa kiruka njia?
Sikushindi wewe.
Talk to me about respect. Nilikwambia Dingo, mfunge kamba mke wako.
Free the dumb so that they can speak. Yeah. Free the dumb. Freedom.
I want you to feel the same, so girl, I want you to feel the same, so cause I have Jaja by my side. They will never conquer I. Leave people business alone. Yeah, people business alone.
Hide me in your rock, oh yeah, protect me from my enemy.
Get the VIP access to the best shows on KBC Channel 1. We have something different, something special to spice you up. Get ready for new, exciting and captivating dramas. Movies.
I love the smell.
Comedy.
I went to the popo. Huh?
Drama.
Did he assault the queen in my house, in my presence?
News, sports and so much more. Do the things that make you happy on KBC Channel 1.
What does this number mean to you? A pack leader? A winner? Or just a number? To us, it means freshness, boldness, vibrancy and heritage. That's why at KBC Channel 1, we make it easier for you to pop up your family entertainment to a fresh, exciting and colorful bouquet.
All right, welcome back. It's People and Politics, of course, still continuing here on KBC Channel 1. With me is Honorable Godfrey Sotsi and Honorable David Sankok. Gentlemen, still continue with the conversation. And before we went on a break, we are talking about this issue of, Kenyans. Let me just call it Kenyans suffering in the Gulf, people who've gone to seek for greener pastures. Some end up, saying that they're allegedly being mistreated in those foreign land. And they're saying that the government is doing very little to safeguard their safety while they are out there looking for, for greener pasture, for lack of a better word. Mheshimiwa Sankok, what do you say about this? Because you sit in the Labour Committee in Parliament.
In fact, Victor, we are having a sitting today.
Right, perfect.
And luckily enough, you have called Godfrey Ososi.
Yes.
And let me start by thanking Mheshimiwa.
Yeah.
Because we have a question before us that he had asked on the floor of the House.
Yes.
And I think I should just read for the record.
Sure, go ahead. Yes.
That question number 191 of 2021 by nominated member Honorable Godfrey Ososi, MP, regarding the plight of Kenyans working in the Middle East.
Yes.
This is a question that is before our Labor and Social Welfare Committee. So already Godfrey Ososi is days ahead of you in raising this matter. Is days ahead of all Kenyans in raising these matters in the floor of the House. And today we will give him an answer through the Minister of Labor and Social Welfare. But in a nutshell, when we started exporting labor, we did not have a legal framework on how we should be exporting labor. So it turned out to be like human trafficking. So there were a lot of Kenyans who went to the Gulf without following the due process of the law. And if you don't follow the due process of the law, Kenyans are not, the Kenyan government is not aware if you are still in Kenya or you are outside Kenya. And if you are outside, where are you? And that is why we have an elaborate plan as the Labor and Social Welfare Committee, together with the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare, together with the government agencies like NITA, first of all, to register all the agents that will export laborers. And again, have a pre-departure training to every immigrant worker. So that when they go, they know that the Constitution of Kenya does no longer apply. What applies is the Constitution of the country they have gone to. And again, they should not get the culture shock. So they are trained on what do they expect. You know, sometimes you get a house help from the village. You take them to the Gulf, like now to Dubai. Where then she have been cooking using firewood. And then they find that there is gas, there is all those other equipments,
appliances
kitchen
and all
appliances.
that, right?
You know, they don't know how to use. So it's better that they are trained before, so that also the employer outside there get the value of their money, because they pay for the visas. They want these workers to go and work for them. If then they don't work for them because of lack of knowledge, then they become a problem.
But Mheshimiwa, some of them said that they lack communication between the embassies of Kenya and wherever, you know, those particular countries they are in.
If you went illegally, of course you'll not have any communication. Because in the first place, the government is not aware that you are.
Are these agencies regulated?
These agencies, we have registered all of them. They have been registered afresh. They are now being regulated because, as I have told you, we want to be a labor export nation, so that we can export, because we have plenty of laborers here who can really work. And then again, lastly, and let us be true to ourselves and be genuine. Some of them, when they go there thinking of many other things, including even getting husbands from there or getting wives from there. Others go there, and once they are there, you know, already the potential employer have paid a lot. So once they land into, let us say, Qatar, they start seeking for greener pastures instead of staying for at least 6 months, so that at least, because the guy who have employed you paid for your tickets, he have sent you money, so at least you should work for him for some duration before you start now job seeking. But we have been having those problems, and that's why we now have memorandum of understanding between the potential employer and the government of Kenya. And lastly, again, we don't have complaints from professionals. Surely we don't have. There's nil complaints. The complaints we have is from house help mostly. And why? Because of culture shock. They go there with tight jeans, which is not accepted in the Gulf. They go there with, some of them go to the streets, which is something that is unheard of. They want to form another Koinange somewhere in the Gulf, which is unheard of. So you will find such instances. And again, I sympathize with a few cases isolated. But I can tell you, even the house helps that we have in Kenya, we have been having such cases with the house help in Kenya. We have had house help killing babies of their employers. We have had employers molesting their house help here in Kenya.
Yeah.
So also, Qatar is not an island.
Okay, perhaps just bring Mheshimiwa Osoti here. He has a question before the Labour and Welfare Committee. Mheshimiwa, what is your real intention that you're trying to raise with the Labour and Welfare Committee in Parliament regarding this one?
Well, some time back in early December, a very unfortunate case was brought to me of a young girl called Melvin Kangereha. She's from Sabatia, sub-county of Vihiga.
Yes.
And it was very, very sad story. This young girl left this country after going through all the formal processes. She was taken to Saudi Arabia by a company or an organization that is registered by Kenyan government. It wasn't bogus.
Yes.
And then she traveled. She was attached to an employer, and then after some time the employer now decided to shortchange her
a contract
on the arrangement they had in terms of how much she was to get and all that. And then when this young girl questioned and said, this is what we agreed, then the employer now decided to fix her, and they went and reported to the police that this particular girl wanted to kill him and the family.
Yes.
So the girl was arrested. She was taken to court, and they gave her a 2-month sentence. Then she was jailed. But a day before she was supposed to finish her jail, she was found dead on her bed with blood-stained sheets. And the Kenyans who live there, including there is the Kenyans who are there. They have a diaspora association. They tried to raise that matter with the police, with Kenyan embassy. Nothing came out. But they hurriedly organized for the transport of the body to Kenya. And the family is very poor. They approached me, and I have video recordings of what exactly happened, including her even communication with the people back at home.
Yes.
And the communication between, even when she died, people in Saudi Arabia and the family here. So it's very unfortunate. I'll be looking forward to the responses by the cabinet secretary involved on what exactly happened. But it is not a single issue. We have had so many of these cases.
We've had so many cases.
So many of these cases happening
in the Gulf.
And people have been wondering, what's the government doing about it? What is the embassy in Saudi Arabia doing about it? What is the immigration doing about it? What is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs doing it? What is the Labor Ministry doing about it? Because in other countries, like I am told Philippines, they have a working program with the Gulf states, which is going on very well. So I think we need to relook at bilateral agreements that we have
between Kenya
and the Gulf states. Because I am told there is a system in the Gulf called kafala, kafala or something, which is very discriminatory. And we know we have International Labour Organization rules that define migration of workers, which we must be able to formulate bilateral agreements that reflect the ILO convention, ILO regulations. So I think the Labour Committee needs to do a lot more in this area. They need to conduct a very serious inquiry, and they need also to look at the rules and make the laws and all that, so that we strengthen this program, or we stop it altogether. Because a lot of our young people are being tortured, they are being raped, they are being a lot of bad things and killed.
Exactly. Some of them who narrate
sometimes killed in a police cell, in jail.
Yeah, some of the videos we even received the newsroom, as some of them are so disturbing.
Yes.
And perhaps, Mheshimiwa, is it that high time that the government or the Labour and Welfare Committee stop the recruitment of, people or Kenyans seeking greener pastures in the Gulf until certain recommendations are made, and the way you're putting it, that trade and bilateral trade and agreement is put in place between Kenya and those other foreign countries, or recall those people who are in those foreign lands to come back until everything is ironed out, and then now we can have a clean place for people to trade and have, people living peacefully wherever they are.
I can assure you, Victor, that there is now bilateral trade agreements, bilateral working agreements, and that everybody who will be leaving this country from now on henceforth, as far as they live formally, must have a contract already signed by the employer from the potential country and the government of Kenya and the person and then the individual, and that there will be a tracing of all of them who have already migrated. I can assure you that those that are working there and they went there formally are very comfortable. The only problem we have is the people that we cannot trace, that which recruiting agents. And and again, there have been recruiting agents which are very malicious,
who are not even registered.
They are Kenyans, and they are not even registered. And they bring ladies from, or young men from the villages, bundle them in one house in Nairobi, Buruburu, or wherever, because we have found some of them, and then all of a sudden they transport them to the Middle East. The government is not aware. If we have to recall them, we will only recall the formal one, who are very comfortable. Most of them will not even agree to come, or accept to come. I doubt if the 85 pilots, Kenyan pilots working in Qatar Airways, will dare come back. I doubt if the 500 nurses working in Ahmad Hospital will dare come back. They are very comfortable because they went formally. So from, I think 3 months ago, there is no Kenyans now living without the formal process. Because all those recruitment agencies were all of them registered and then registered afresh. So registering afresh was through a very rigorous vetting process.
So as a member of parliament sitting in that committee, what would you assure Kenyans, even because people will still continue to seek for greener pastures? What would you...
What I will plead with Kenyans...
Even recommendation from the committee.
What I'll plead with Kenyans is that use the formal process. Use a recruitment agent that is registered. See the certificate of recruiting agent. Have your contract signed by you, the potential employer, before you leave Kenya. And also by the government of Kenya.
Absolutely.
Make sure, because you'll be given some information. One of the information that will be given is of the details of the embassy, the address of the embassy, the telephone contact, the physical address, everything. So that when you have a problem, you can rush to our embassy in that particular country.
I think that would settle this issue once and for all, because we've lost many Kenyans, and it will not be a good thing that young Kenyans live here to go, abroad, across our borders to look for greener pastures, and when you land there, you find yourself in a very not such a good situation, and it's not so good. So, gentlemen, let's leave pledges and talk about something here briefly. As members of parliament, now we have it here on the front page of the Standard. My cameraman, please just have that. CJ Comey fires warning shot. And this warning shot is actually directed to Parliament, and it says that Chief Justice Martha Koome puts both houses of Parliament on notice in a letter detailing multiple and overlapping summonses to judicial staff that she says borders on harassment and disrespect for constitutional boundaries, halts appearances until matter is resolved. There's that letter, and of course I know it still continues another paper there, and it says that the registrar was supposed to appear before the PSC to answer to audit queries, and now CJ has now said that you are overstepping by your mandate. Mheshimiwa Osotsi, another battle is now looming in Parliament between the judiciary and the legislature.
I think, Victor, I think this is very unfortunate and reckless statement by the new Chief Justice. The gist of the matter, and I thought the CJ would take time to be properly briefed before commenting or before writing to Parliament.
Yes.
Because I understand this matter very well. The gist of the matter is that judiciary has some audit queries which were raised in the Auditor General's report. Not for this year alone, for I think about four years.
Yes.
It has been recurring. And this is about HR, human resource management at the judiciary.
Yes.
That there are staff who have been in acting capacity for a very long time. And one of the staff is the finance director.
Yes.
The finance director of the judiciary has been acting for 7 years. And this matter was raised by the Auditor General. This matter has been raised by the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. It has also been raised by the parent committee that oversees judiciary, which is JLAC. It has been raised.
Yeah.
And the registrar of the chief registrar has appeared before this committee together with even JSC.
Yes.
When they were pushing for the budget, and he made some undertakings to the committee that this position would be filled substantively.
Yes.
On several occasions. The Chief Justice herself, when she was being vetted for this position, this matter came up about corruption in judiciary and about HR malpractices in the judiciary.
Yes.
And she said that she is going to deal with the issue
of corruption.
And she also said, and is on Hansard,
yes,
that she's going to respect Parliament and she will respect all the summons that are issued by Parliament.
Yes.
So this particular case is that the Chief Registrar has been summoned twice to appear before Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee. She was not appeared. Then instead of her appearing, the next thing that comes is a letter from the Chief Justice.
Yes.
Explaining how Parliament is harassing them, explain about overlapping summons.
Yeah.
Parliament exists to oversight anything under the sun. If you look at Article 95,
yes,
anything under the sun in this country, whether you are judiciary, whether you are what, so long as you receive exchequer's money, public money, through the budget,
yeah,
you are not immune from oversight. So, you know, every year judiciary, JSC, led by the Chief Justice, they appear before the JLAC committee to present their budget. JLAC passes the budgets, they are taken to Budget and Appropriation Committee, again they appear there. So, if you are receiving public money and you don't want to be questioned, I think that is judicial impunity, which the lady Chief Justice talked against. So it is very unfair, and I think the biggest problem here is that there are rogue officers working under the Chief Justice who may not have advised her appropriately. And my advice to her is to settle down and get proper brief on this matter, because what she's doing is contempt of Parliament. And I have seen that the PAC is saying that they are going to recommend to Parliament that the Chief Justice should be named. And Parliament can do that. You know, it just takes one afternoon and one has gone home.
Yes.
So the Chief Justice is treading on a very dangerous ground. I think he needs to understand that this matter originated from the Auditor General in several reports. And this matter has been canvassed in Parliament for long. So he just needs to she just needs to understand the matter before writing such a letter to Parliament. Because you know Parliament.
Yes.
Parliament cannot be micromanaged by anyone, and Parliament cannot be stopped from performing its important function of oversight.
Yes, and Mheshimiwa, just before we come to an end, I'm told that we are running out of time.
Yes.
The CJ accused MPs of pursuing individual interest, quote unquote, and of harassing judicial officers in the name of undertaking their oversight role. I understand that parliamentary committees are by itself Parliament on their own. They have got privileges and powers.
Yes.
So when it comes to this kind of situation, how are you going to see now moving forward the relationship between the judiciary and legislature as we wind up?
First of all, I respect Lady Justice Mother Kome.
Yes.
She's a family friend.
Right.
And I respect her. But nonetheless, when she appeared before Parliament for vetting, she did not see the micromanaging of the judiciary. When she appeared together with her officers
candidates,
in Parliament, JLAC and Budget and Appropriation Committee, trying to front their budget, they did not see as if we were overstepping on our mandate. I think the Lady Chief Justice understand the Constitution of Kenya, that the oversight role is given to Parliament, not any other organ. And we oversight all public resources that have been allocated either to the executive or to the judiciary. So when then it is the matter of oversighting on the prudent use of those resources, I think she's totally out of order.
Yes.
If she's saying that we must spend them appearing before Parliament until a decision have been made, you know which decision? Unless we are amending the Constitution, but the Constitution still give Parliament that power to oversight. And my advice to her, please, just follow the Constitution.
But perhaps this statement could even make other independent bodies now to start questioning the independence of Parliament.
The circumstances of this matter, I think the CJ is being used by someone. There are serious issues in judiciary. For example, we have received petitions about suppliers who cannot be paid because someone wants to be given a kickback for him to for her or him to authorize a payment.
All right.
Those are issues happening in judiciary. And Parliament exists to deal with such issues. And you cannot tell us to stop summoning you because you are judiciary. In any case, even judiciary deals with our matters. We passed BBI in 2 houses, but they shut it down. Did we complain as Parliament that judiciary is interfering with our work? We have had several pieces of legislation which they have shut down. We didn't complain
because
we
the Constitution giving them that mandate to interpret the law. So if, for instance, we follow this issue of Lady Justice Mother Kome, that the judiciary is independent, it cannot appear before Parliament. What about the independent commissions? They'll start also saying the word independent. They are very independent. But they are not independent when they are asking for funds. Because the sole mandate of budgeting rests in Parliament. So I think if then we go that way, that you can use your powers the way you want, then Parliament may decide to use their powers the way they want, cut the budget of the
judiciary,
and then they will still start now complaining. Are you getting? So let us not use our powers the way we think befit us. Let us use our power in accordance with our Constitution.
All right,
gentlemen. And then again, just last minute. Impunity.
10 seconds, please.
Impunity. This is a case of one, Susan Oyatsi, the acting finance director, has been acting for 7 years. Within these 7 years, we have had like 4 interviews happening where she's one of the participants and she's never given the job. And Parliament is raising this issue because that matter has come up in the audit report. So it is very unfair for the Chief Justice, who was given this job on the basis that she's a lady, to stop another lady from getting a job.
All right.
Why did she take the job given by Parliament?
All right. Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, we've taken 1.5 hours. It seems like we've just taken 20 minutes. We have a lot of things to say, but, you know, things must move in a particular way. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We had Godfrey Ososi, who is Member of Parliament, ANC, and, of course, David Sankok, also nominated Member of Parliament. Thank you so much for coming. And up next, we have got Health Tuesday.
Of course, reproductive health is our conversation this Tuesday. We narrow it down to family planning and contraceptives. But before we begin that conversation, let me just run you through quickly some facts and myths surrounding the issue of family planning and contraceptive. And just to start with the facts is that actually, as it stands, about 15 to 44 women use contraception. There's also the fact that young women are less likely to use contraception than older women. This some of the things that also the doctor will be talking to us about in just a short while. One last fact is that the pill is actually popular, but it's not for everyone. So what does that mean, given the fact that also a good number of women, you know, we tend to really lean towards using the pill as opposed to any other form of contraceptive? Again, some of the myths surrounding contraceptives and family planning include that natural methods do not work. So actually that just means that this is not true and it's just a myth altogether. And then there's also one that birth control can prevent STIs. Again, what also does that mean? Again, one last one is that hormonal types cause abortions. Of course, this just simply means that we have the hormonal and hormonal form of contraceptions. But again, like I mentioned, we have a doctor on set this morning. That is Dr. Dambiso wa Kenya, who will be helping us understand more about family planning and contraceptive in just a short while.
Be sure, check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Nissan Serena ndio hii, na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS, alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bidi yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bidi yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bidi ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
This is where it all began. As the mother of broadcasting in Kenya, you can trust KBC to bring you authentic news and programs to your living room. As KBC, we take pride in our unrivaled heritage as Kenya's trusted national broadcaster. Commanding over 92% digital television signal coverage of our country, 23 radio services that cut across our entire language spectrum, a national, regional and international digital presence backed by the most experienced and top-notch broadcast professionals in the industry.
A very good evening to you.
The new look Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is truly ahead of the pack. Turn to the mother of broadcasting in Kenya for stories that resonate with our identity, our aspirations as a people united in purpose. Real stories of hard work, of passion, of creativity, of big dreams. Stories that cement our nationhood. Stories that bring us together as one. We take pride in our shared heritage and destiny. KBC, informing, educating and entertaining Kenyans as one nation. KBC, Kenya's listening. Kenya's watching.
I've issued an order. The lush pasture in the north will be the new home for these 10,000 warhorses.
The man you want me to get rid of would be Prince Jin, correct?
Although he may suspect me somewhat, now our priority is to ease all of his suspicions.
Quiero amarte de una forma diferente, de otro modo.
We've got to try and put it out before it spreads. Hurry up!
It was a brilliant idea to set the Star Zone on fire.
What a pity. Max won't be able to bring out his product and all his hard work burned to ashes.
Star Zone is on fire right now.
What? On fire? How did it happen? All of it is going up in smoke. The entire Star Zone.
De una forma diferente, de otro modo, nunca igual al de otra gente.
Free the dumb so that they can speak. Yeah. Free the dumb. Freedom. I want you to feel the same, so girl, I want you to feel the same, so cause I am Jaja by my side. They will never conquer I. Leave people business alone. Yeah. Leave people business alone.
Hide me in your rock, oh yeah. Protect me from my enemy.
Alright, so from those facts and myths, Dr. Nabiswa is here ready to help us understand more. Sindio, you know, I had told our viewers that you actually were stuck in traffic a bit, but at least you are now here.
Yes.
Let's start from the beginning to at least form a basis. Reproductive health as a whole, when you talk about reproductive health, in essence, what exactly are we meaning?
Okay. As you've said, my name is Dr. Nabiswa of Kenya. I'm the Secretary General, Kenya Young Doctors Caucus. I'm a doctor working in Nairobi with the Radiant Hospital, Radiant Group of Hospital. I've majored mostly in reproductive health. So reproductive health is a part of health that starts from birth. So when babies are born, mothers are very concerned about their reproductive system. So it is part of health that starts from very beginning. It is what brings life. So it is a very major concern in the health system of any human.
Okay.
Yes.
So it means it's holistic.
It's holistic.
All right. Now, right into our conversation this morning, myths surrounding family planning and contraceptive. Just for our starters, how many contraceptive methods do we have out here?
We have various contraceptive methods. One of it commonly used is hormonal in women. We have also barriers. So when we say hormonal, we just mean use of progesterone only, or progesterone, estrogen. These are just hormones, which come in various forms. It can either be implants, where they are put in the arms. It can also come in form of even progesterone coils. It can come in form of injections, pills. Commonly used is pills. Nowadays we've seen implants also being used. We also have barriers that are hormonal. When we come to barriers as a form of contraception, we're talking about use of condoms.
Okay.
Which we have male and female. We also have vasectomy, which is a barrier.
All right.
So yeah.
And we'll come to that in a bit. You mentioned hormonal, so obviously it means we also have non-hormonal.
Yes.
What are they, and what examples form the non-hormonal form of contraceptives?
Non-hormonal form of contraception is use of we have these IUCDs that are non-hormonal. So those are forms of contraception that are used mostly in women. But when we talk about hormonal contraception, it's not only limited to women. Nowadays, we are also having places where they are developing use of hormonal contraception in the male.
Okay.
Yes. So non-hormonal, most of the time we are talking about use of coils. Non-hormonal can also include the barrier method. The one we are talking about, the condoms, which is both male and female.
So actually condoms fall into the barrier methods.
Okay.
All right. Now even let's talk about the hormonal and the non-hormonal, because I really want our viewers to understand what exactly we're talking about, because like we mentioned earlier, is that the issue of family planning and contraceptive is an emotive kind of topic. So at what point does one need to know, maybe I should go for hormonal or non-hormonal? What exactly happens?
Okay. We've had issue surrounding contraception, whereby many women currently wish to be using any form of contraception, but because, as we mentioned, that there is myths surrounding contraception, and also there is beliefs which are mostly religious, political, or even social, that surrounds contraception. It's made women who are using contraceptive methods which may not be effective and safe. So they end up choosing contraception that are not useful to, or that are not compatible with their bodies or with their hormones or anything. So they end up having side effects. We even have some who use herbal, herbal contraception, which has a lot of hormones taken once in a month. So they end up having side effects. So when they reach to us, they have already been using a certain contraceptive method, and they're having problems. So they were using hormonal at that time, and now we switch to non-hormonal. So it comes in that at the point where we switch to non-hormonal is when we are having complications of hormonal.
Form of contraceptives.
Yes.
So again, just borrowing from what you're saying, then it means that there needs to be a process and a procedure before actually one starts using or acquires any form of contraceptive.
Very right.
What is the process?
The process is that first of all, it should start with educating the community from a very early age. Educating young boys and girls about contraception, need for family planning, and planned pregnancies, whereby by the time they are about to start using this contraception, they already know, they have already made a doctor. There is no any studies or any correlation that somebody has to go under certain tests for them to use any contraception.
There's
no need. I can say there's no need for you to undergo certain tests for you to use a certain contraception. We just come, we give you various options of contraception, and then after there we will observe you and we will give you a safe contraceptive method instead of walking into a shop. Nowadays they are lying to people out there that herbal, through various ways we've had countries exporting they are contraceptive. They call it herbal into Kenya. Now Kenyans buy it thinking that it's herbal, but it's just chemical contraception with a lot of hormones. So it's important that we teach at a very early age our boys, our girls at a very early age about use of contraception.
All right. Well, you've just said that there's actually no need for a test, which I think that does away with most kind of thinkings, because you always think that for me to get a proper kind of contraceptive, then perhaps the doctor or the gyna needs to examine me to understand also how my body system works for them to prescribe a proper contraceptive for someone. There's no that I can say there's no need. We just have to have a small conversation as a doctor. I will give you various methods, but this is important, maybe due to certain things. Maybe you want to give birth in coming, let's say 2 years, 3 years, I will give you a certain method that will prevent that. If maybe you just want to prevent pregnancy for 6 months, I will give you a proper contraception because of that circumstance. But body-wise, there's no need. There's no problem. All right. Also, earlier on you had mentioned about the pills, and again, also just from the facts and myths that I was reading out there, for our viewers, that it shows that the pill is actually the most common form of contraceptives. And I'd like, and also I know our viewers would like to understand, we have all these methods that you also explained to us when you were beginning, but why does the pill form the bigger chunk of the most common form use of contraceptive? What is it about the pill?
Pills, we have several. We have two mostly used hormones in pills, whereby we have progesterone only, and we have the combined ones, where they have progesterone and estrogen. So they mostly used in women currently, whereby somebody takes a pill once in a month, daily. So also depending with either they are breastfeeding or they are not breastfeeding, that's why they will take either progesterone only or progesterone combined with estrogen. So mostly progesterone only used in women who are breastfeeding. So there are form of contraception that have been in use and they are commonly used, and they are also safe. The preventive rates is very, very high. There are myths surrounding it. We have people complaining that they maybe cause excessive bleeding. We have others say that they are leading to swelling of their lower limbs. But the rates of the side effects is lower than unplanned pregnancies. So pills are one of the most used contraception, well prescribed by a doctor or a gynecologist.
So it's because of the rate of the side effects which are lower, that is why they are most commonly used.
Yes.
All right.
They also do not involve a lot of process for you to acquire it. Unlike implant, whereby you will have to go to the doctor and then they will have to take you under say some small surgical procedure of inserting it. Pills you just buy and then you start using it. So they're easily used because of their accessibility.
Okay, but also understand sometimes one might forget to take the pill. So again, how does it make it easy to use? Because if they're taken daily, what happens if you just happen to forget, as opposed to the implant where after it's inserted, that's it?
I can say that's part of its setback.
Okay.
When you're having, you have to remind yourself that you need to take a pill daily. And if you forget, maybe for 2 or more days, it may lead to you getting pregnant, but forgetting one day it may not.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. All right,
one day will not interfere with the hormones.
It will interfere. What about the emergency pill? Because again, also there's been an abuse of this kind of pill, especially amongst the younger women and adolescents. And we'll come to adolescent and younger women perhaps a bit later. But the abuse of e-pill, in terms of side effects or the effects therein, and even long term, help us understand, because sometimes people really don't understand how the kind of effect it might have long term.
I can say when we talk about emergency pills, I will categorize it to high dose hormonal contraception. Among it, I will also put herbal. So if you take e-pills, you are taking a high dose of hormones in your body, and you are taking it once. So if you repeat it, let's say monthly, every month you are taking an e-pill, you are putting high hormones of estrogen, of progesterone into your body, and we have side effects of these high dose hormones. What we call DVTs. DVTs, just swelling of the lower limbs, which may also affect the heart, also affect the brain or even the chest, the lungs. So it can also interfere with the flow of the menses. So it's advisable that they are not taken frequently.
The way most would take it frequently.
Yes.
All right. Okay, now let's come to vasectomy, because I mean, we can't talk about contraceptives and family planning and just stick to women. It takes two to tango. All right, let's talk about vasectomy, and this is for males, of course. There was this conversation running, especially in 2019, where this needs to be perhaps something that males also need to consider. But it didn't quite receive the positive kind of reception, especially from males. Let me click your mind on just male contraceptive and vasectomy, to be precise.
What I can tell you is that male contraception is one of the most effective way of let's say contraception,
or family planning as a whole.
Planning as a whole, So currently we have vasectomy, which is commonly used, I can say, worldwide. But it hasn't infiltrated our country or our region because of a lot of beliefs, religious, political, and also social. But it's safe, it is reversible, and I can say it doesn't involve change of hormones in the body. So I can say it's a conversation that should be revisited, should be talked about. We also have developments that are ongoing about male hormonal contraception. So we've seen people going for vasectomy recently, and it's a safe way of birth control, planned pregnancies. I can say it's a conversation that we should start talking
we should engage in further. But let's talk a bit about that reversibility part, because I think for most people the fear actually comes in that bit of perhaps someone actually undergoes that, they get a vasectomy, then again 3 years down they feel like, okay, fine, I think I really want to have a child. Then perhaps there's that thinking of, will I ever get a child because I had like sort of a permanent form of procedure done on me or on the someone, or on the person rather.
I can say is if there is anything that happens post vasectomy and it's maybe leading to infertility, I can say it is just one of the small side effects of any other contraception. Just like we have women using hormonal either implants, and then after they are very small percentage, very small percentage of them do not maybe get their periods, or some of them even do not conceive again. Just like vasectomy and its reversibility, it's just a very small percentage that shouldn't be feared by many. Provided we demystify any myths that surrounds it, I think it should be impressed. And though it involves, it's a surgical procedure, so it may be financially involved, both the initial process and reversing of it.
Okay. So now, when you talk about those fears, because just borrowing from what happened in 2019 when this conversation sort of began, and the way I was telling you is that actually it got sort of like a backlash even from the males. And one of the things that was really ongoing was that males said that the side effects is one of those things that they can't stand. But then their female counterparts would say, this is also what we get when we take the kind of contraceptives that we take even as females.
I can say these are just fears, these are myths, which it shouldn't take too long before people are educated about use of this kind of contraceptions. So it's a process for you to convince Kenyans that, or you to convince a person that you should undergo this kind of process for you to control your family. Maybe you're having already enough family of children, and you want to not burden your wife with hormones, hormonal use. Maybe she's having already side effects, and you want to say that you want to control the family. You should undergo such a kind of contraceptive methods.
All right. So you're rooting for vasectomy as a form of family planning?
It is a form of family planning. It is a form of family planning that has been in use, and just like any other family planning method, it should be embraced.
Okay, now let's talk about adolescents and the younger women, because again, let's face it, in as much as we may not really want to perhaps have this conversation about adolescents and teens taking contraceptives, but it's already out there. I mean, a good number of them would even are having actually sex. And there's that belief of, it's culture, religious. Why are we talking about contraceptives for teens and adolescents?
Yes. When you talk about contraception in teens, especially just post-puberty, it's a very sensitive matter, especially when our laws strictly does not allow maybe sex before 18 years old, but we're having kids in primary school, in high school, engaging in sexual activities, and at the same time they get pregnant. This is what we are calling now unplanned pregnancies. So it's something that it's long overdue that we should be talking about, educating them, introducing even this form of contraceptions. It's just my opinion,
No one should castigate you.
It's my opinion that we should introduce
to the team.
We should introduce. Let us encourage that in primary school they are told, they explain to them that there is a safe method of preventing unwanted pregnancies. So it's a conversation that should be ongoing. So yes, we should.
All right. You are saying, and like you mentioned, this is actually your opinion, that introduction of this form of contraceptives, even to schools, to these teens or adolescents, needs perhaps to be allowed or permitted. But again, there's another school of thought that if actually this happens, it's like we're making these young people promiscuous, sort of like we are empowering them to actually go and engage in sex.
So it's a double-edged sword when you you engage certain opinions, that if we don't introduce it, then they are at the same time going to have, they will engage in the sexual activities, and they're engaging, they are doing that. So it's a conversation that we should initiate. We should start talking to them and reducing this form of contraception. So when we weigh the importance and the side, the other part that they are not using contraception, we have kids dropping out of school or even delaying their school process because of pregnancies, and the most affected ones are female. We're having ladies, girls. Girls are the most affected people. Male, they may not drop out of school because they're having
continue with learning.
Yeah, they will just continue. So it's something that we need to look into it, study around it, weigh the importance, and see if it is applicable. Because there was introduction of condoms in campus when I was in the University of Nairobi. Yeah, we walk out of your hostel, you find there's a box of condoms out there. It didn't improve or influence any promiscuity. It was already there.
So it's just like coming to curb, when you talk about especially, those early pregnancies or unwanted pregnancies. All right.
Because these things are happening in certain form of settlements. If you went to certain schools, very improved, you will find that education on reproductive health is very advanced. But you go to other schools in informal settlements, in villages, there's a lot of myths around reproductive health. You find that if a teacher talks about reproductive health, as you say, people will think that they are promoting promiscuity.
Even the mention of that word, people feel like, okay, can you use another word? And I think that's where the problem begins from. Because if we really need to have these conversations and perhaps even make breakthrough on it, we actually need to have it the way it is.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah, we need to talk
we need to talk about it openly. I don't fear to even mention words because, I mean, it is what it is. Okay. Even when you talk about adolescents and teens, because I really want us to stay there just a bit, also because of even in the papers today we had about almost 300,000 plus girls getting pregnant just in this period of COVID-19 since the inception in March up until now. And that just goes to tell you of how it's actually important for us to have this conversation around family planning and contraceptive. So again, when it comes back to the teens or even the adolescents per se, is it like a requirement or a rule that if a teen would want to perhaps get any form of contraceptive, they need to walk into the facility with a guardian or a parent?
As things stand with the Kenyan laws, any teen who is below 18 years old, most of the time they are seen in company of their parents. So I can say it's something that has to involve. If somebody is below 18 years old and they are post-puberty, it's a conversation that the parent should have and the kid. But anyone who is above 18 years old, and they're still teenagers, those ones can just walk to any hospital and they'll be given a contraception method. All right.
Okay. I would have really loved us to have this conversation even more in detail because there's a lot about this topic, but I'm just informed that we are out of time. We have to pave way for the next live link. But thank you so much for your time, at least for helping us understand, a thing or two about family planning and contraceptives as a whole. Asante sana.
Karibu.
That has been Dr. Nabiso wa Kenya, who's the Secretary General, Kenya Young Doctors Caucus, just talking to us about family planning and contraceptives as a whole. And that's why we bring this conversation as well as Good Morning Kenya this Tuesday to a close. Till tomorrow, I'm Dorina Rangia from me and on behalf of the entire team. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely morning.
Welcome.
That was so short.
Siku moja mosquito ilipata ujauzito, ikazaa mtoto. Sasa hiyo mama ya mosquito ikatuma mtoto mosquito iende ikapige doria, iwache kukaa kwa nyumba. Sasa hii mtoto mosquito ikaenda ikarudi. Hii mtoto mosquito ikaambia mama yake, mama, mimi nimeenda kila mahali watu wanapigia mimi makofi, watu wamefurahiana na mimi sana. Mama, hii mosquito ikaambia mtoto yake, hao wapigi wewe makofi eti wanafurahia wewe, hiyo walikuwa wanataka kuua wewe.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya Mosquito, bonyeza *8